Hello people, and welcome back to the crate with Tomb, where today I'm going to be testing something a little different. Now, most people, if they've done any miniatures, especially of the Games Workshop variety, know that the best way to work with their plastic figures is using good old plastic glue, cement, or in some cases, as I know it, polycement. Now, where it's a super effective glue that actually melts the plastic together, forming a very strong bond where the plastic layer has slightly melted and then forms together after that. We're also going to be testing out something a little different, because we have here some, as the bottle seems to be called, contactor liquid, just standard polycement, polyglue, plastic glue, whatever you want to call it. And we're also going to be trying out some plastic weld. Weld or weld? Weld. I can't pronounce the word weld or world, apparently. That's something to learn. Anyway, back to the plot, what little there is of it. What I'm going to be doing is using both the plastic glue and then the plastic weld. Still not getting that right. And I've just got two random bits of sprue that I have cut off to a roughly similar length, and I'm going to stick them together and see what effects the plastic weld and then the plastic glue have. It is mainly from a money point of view. I believe that small 18-gram bottle cost about £4.50, whereas this big, is that 60mm? 80ml, I believe. Might be 60, if camera would focus. Bottle cost me. Words are not my speciality today, apparently. Cost me, again, about £4, giving quite a lot more liquid. So I'm now going to glue them bits of sprue together, see how they go, and then once they've had a while to dry, I will be back to examine the results. So we have glued them both together. English is definitely not my strong suit today, or words, language at all. So here I have glued them together, and this is my initial assessment. For the plastic weld, possibly just because of it's a different variety, I found it a lot more pungent than the normal poly cement or plastic glue, which, yeah, it's not too bad. Possibly just as the type that I bought, it was rather thin and rushed everywhere. As you can see, there's a little bit of discoloration, but for now it does seem to be holding up quite well, even though it has, if this would focus a bit, only a little bit, it has piled up where it was a bit too thin and run away very quickly. So that was plastic weld, either one, I still can't pronounce it. Anyway, plastic glue was pretty much as expected. It was not as pungent, didn't run. I have a brush applicator one, which worked quite well. A little bit of overflow, again, that's more my fault than the glue, but we will give it some time to dry and just see how it goes. A little bit of a side note, if you're noticing that the plastic weld, plastic W stuff, there we go, that's what I'm calling it for now, was a bit coloured or discoloration. No, that is just literally me marking so I remember which one was I working on. Because, you know, memories and words are not something I'm good at. Anyway, I'm going to give it a couple of hours to dry and we'll come back, see how they hold up and what they look like. And so it's been 4 hours since we glued them together. Now let's have a quick look, shall we? Plastic weld, pretty good seam. Quite durable. Seems to have worked pretty much the way normal plastic glue works. Moving on to that one. If it would focus, there we go. Barely visible seam where the plastic has almost, well, pretty much melted together. In probably layman's terms, there's some other words, no doubt, but anyway. So yeah, as I was saying, pretty good result. They both seem quite sturdy. They're both making up quite a solid build. They seem like they're going to stay together quite well. So, not much of the brilliant result, but interesting nonetheless. So, if you're looking for a cheap alternative, possibly in bulk, you have Plastic Weld, or Plastic W as I'm calling it. But if you want to go just the old-fashioned route, you have the good old-fashioned poly cement, plastic glue, any such thing. Both very similar results. It may just be that Plastic W, the smell was just part of that brand, and I did notice a little bit on my finger, and that seemed to react a little bit more with the skin, but nothing major, nothing worse than super gluing your fingers together, just a slight bit of tackiness. But anyway, those were the conclusions and the results. Not that much of a conclusion, but thank you for watching. I've been Tomb, bringing you poly cement and Plastic W. Thank you for watching. See you next time.